Cindy Wilson, welcome to Soul Sisters. Thanks
Thank
for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
What's going on back home in Georgia right now with the hurricane? What do you hear?
Well, it's crazy. It's not as bad as
they thought.
Everybody was like thinking it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's dropped down to a Category 1.
Okay.
So that's like a gust of tropical storms.
Right.
It's funny how it's all relative, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
But, it's more rain. I mean, we've had a lot of rain this year, but, it's the dams are filling up and it'll be good,
Yeah.
But everybody's not in danger.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you moved away from Athens, right, and then moved back?
I did. The B-52s started in
Right.
76 or so. And as soon as we signed with the record label Warner Brothers and Island for Europe, we took the money, put it all in a pot, and bought a house in Lake Napac, New York, in Putnam County.
That is my favorite thing.
What part of that's your favorite thing?
That they lived in a house together.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
That's the dream.
Best. Yeah, that is definitely the dream.
But it was, the problem is we probably should have just moved directly to New York City instead of going out the country. And because there was just too much. We were touring together, we were living together. We only had one car out there. And the house wasn't winterized, so I just stayed under the electric blanket when we were there in the winter. But it was beautiful, and we did have some really great times there. We bought this video camera and used to amuse ourselves. This is one thing great about the B-52s is, that's how we started, is amusing ourselves. So we'd make up like TV shows, and it was just outrageous, So I think Keith Strickland holds a lot of those old videos. I can't wait
when they're
exposed. Yeah.
Dara films everything in her life. Like,
is that right?
She's that person too.
Yeah.
So she's getting very excited over here.
Oh my God! Is there?
Yeah,
he's
got them. He's got them. There, we might be using some footage from that. There was one night where we were totally high. I'm not going to say on what, but yeah. And but it was very psychedelic, and it was everybody was like, it was crazy, very surreal, very David Lynch, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. So it was crazy, Twin Peaks and Mayapack,
Oh my God.
When is the last time you've seen any of that footage?
I haven't seen it for a zillion years,
God.
Keith Strickland's got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're doing a documentary. They're putting together one this year. And, we've been together 40 years. The
Happy
B-52
anniversary.
Thank you. And it's been, in one form or another. Sometimes I was pregnant out at home, and, and other times, Keith Strickland left. He went down to Key West. He evacuated because it was a mandatory evacuation in Key West.
Okay, so he's safe.
Yes,
Okay.
he's staying at his sister.
Good.
So but it's been together 40 years in one form or another, and we're going strong, and it's going to be a very hectic schedule this coming year.
Yeah, this year's incredible.
It
nuts.
is. It's really.
I mean, first of all, you already put out 2 EPs.
The solo thing. Well, that's another thing.
I mean, you're going back and forth, right? Isn't the B-52s touring and your solo touring like intertwined?
Yeah, back to back. Sometimes I have time, like a couple of weeks here and a couple of weeks there, but it's going to be definitely busy. But it's that kind of thing. Sometimes life is like that. And you got
to be
I'm very excited.
For it, right?
I'm very excited. Yeah, you have to pace yourself.
Right.
Get a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Don't burn your candle too much
Right.
at both ends.
Yeah.
But I've loved meeting a lot of fans I get to exposed to much more than when I'm out with the B-52s. So you're much more guarded.
Yeah.
But with with
Does that
the
mean
solo.
the team is bigger when you're with the B-52s?
Yes.
So there's just more
everything's
insulation
different.
around you?
Yeah, more insulation.
Yeah,
exactly. And
Here
with
now
the solo,
by yourself, you're like at the merch table. Like
I'm at the merch table. You do what you're supposed to do, and that's been a lot of fun. Is like starting over again. But there are new things that you have to do these days. And T-shirts are definitely one of them. You know, and but the thing is, you get to talk to fans, and it's been really fascinating to hear what the B-52s meant to them, but they were really happy to see this creative project coming at a late time for me.
Well, your new music is cool.
Very well. That's great.
I don't think you would have any kind of barrier accessing a new younger audience.
Yeah,
and yet it's very different.
Yes,
from the B-52s.
Much different. But it's I'm working. It's not a solo project per se because I'm working with a team of
awesome
partners and creative. It's just been really. I'm the pupil.
Yeah.
It's the older one's supposed to be the wise one. But I give it a little wisdom. But it's been really fun and to hear their approach and. How you do it these days.
Yeah.
And we're back down to getting a van and packing up the van and, having a very small footprint as far as equipment.
Right.
And getting everybody, who's in the band to come. And also Dan the man over there, road manager and manager.
Nice.
So, we're all in there. It's cracking jokes.
So is that easy for you?
Living the, drama.
Yeah.
But
you don't mind, kind of toggling between the huge setup and being super taken care of and having a giant team to, doing things for yourself?
Oh, it's actually, it reminds me of B-52s back in the day when we first started. And that's a gift to be able to have that again, And I'm tripping on it. It's really, really fun. It doesn't seem like a bother, but lots of adventures.
Yeah, there you go. That's good perspective.
Do you also have that feeling of starting this new family? I mean, B-52s were literally a family by the time you started.
Oh, Yes. Well, yeah, we started and we had to do my dad gave us a van to do what we're doing now, with the solo. And getting our equipment, packing it, everybody in that van, and we had a independent 45 Rock Lobster and 52 girls. It's the one where the boy is throwing the plates in the air. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a classic 45, and that was the way that you got word of mouth and people hear what you're doing, and so there was. We were coming up to New York and playing CBGBs and Max's back in the day, and we played Hurrahs. That was about our fourth trip up, and this was after the 45 had been out, and we were doing sound check, and then we looked out the window and there was a line around the block. We said, holy moly, something's happening, And
that was just word of mouth at that point?
Well, there's no computers or social media, like that. So it was,
you weren't on the radio
yet, was word of mouth. Word of mouth, and it was the 45. I guess the 45 would get played on the radio.
Yeah.
But,
how did you and Ricky get introduced to music? Or when did that start for you guys?
Oh, well, we came up. Ricky was 4 years older, so I got to sneak into his room and listen to his music.
Yeah.
And I would get my allowance and go buy 45s and albums. And but there was a lot of great stuff going on. Ricky was a Beatle maniac. He started with the Ed Sullivan Show. I'm sure you heard those days, right?
Oh, yeah.
And, it's kind of like a lot of the fans are saying when we were on Saturday Night Live and they saw us perform, they said, where were you?
That became the new Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, exactly. And so, Ricky was, he was a Beatle maniac and, his tastes were amazing. And he went through his freak period and Joni Mitchell he loved. actually got some really good ideas with her open tunings and her jazz kind of things. And
I'm always so impressed by people who were originally inspired by Joni Mitchell, because she's hard to emulate.
She's hard. Yeah.
Like, that's a really high bar to set for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll make you
Ricky adored Joni Mitchell. And,
Yeah.
You know, and so he was like into surprising people too, and like Captain Beefheart was a true original, and he was totally a Captain Beefheart fan, you know, and he had Stooges records, and it was really eclectic. I remember he had Donovan and all these really great records, you know. But at one point, you know, Ricky and I was like his, you know, baby sister. He said, "Okay, sing this," you know. And so he worked for a whole summer. Him and Keith Strickland worked at a garbage, picking up garbage, to get enough money to buy a reel-to-reel.
Wow.
You know, when he was really young, you know. And he would, and then he quit, you know, as soon as he got the money. You know. But he would write music. I think he had 4 tracks back then. Not much by today's standards, but it was wonderful quality, and so I got to like sing with Ricky on this reel-to-reel, and Keith Strickland's got that too. I want to go back and listen to that. Yeah. I remember doing a song with him, and you know, we layered it, and you know, it was ridiculous, but it was like I'm not looking for myself, you know. It's that, you know, you're supposed to be looking for yourself, you know, but it was the anthem to me is just crazy. You know? But Ricky loved humor and music, and he's very playful, and his originality in his guitar work was amazing. It was really fun to hear other guitarists mention Ricky as an influence.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah. Do you think there was a sense that he had and that you all had at the time of wanting a big project of a rock band? Or because the legend about you guys of how you started, this sort of accidental, or not accidental, but
it can't just be legend because it's on your website also.
Well, it's not legend.
Well, legend. I know what she means.
But true.
Yeah.
But it sounds like something that wouldn't be true. That's what I'm saying.
Right, the way the story is told is that it's like, oh, and then we just played, and then it sounded great, and you know, it kind of.
Well, we all got drunk off the same drink.
We got drunk off a hurricane.
It was a volcano drink made of ceramic volcano with sterno on top, and it had a moat around it, giant moat, and the thing was burning, and the rum was very intoxicating.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was in this drink that it led to this?
It was amazing. So we were conjuring up something there, and then we went to a friend's house afterwards, and just he had his equipment there. He was a musician, and we just were like having fun and just like jamming, you know, and a lot of good stuff came from just that original jam, and we were just cracking up, and so we kind of felt like, okay, this is really good, you know. So let's go and rehearse and get a few songs together and play them at Gray and Julia's Valentine's party. So we had enough time to do that, and that was our premiere. And really, it was never meant to be, you know, for like 40 year, you know, kind of thing. But you know, it was kismet. You know? It was just amazing that everything just fit together, and it was so wonderful.
Had you started writing songs before then? When did songwriting start for you?
Well, not with Fred and Kate, but
like
Ricky,
on your own, or with Ricky?
Mm-hmm. And it was Keith Strickland. I mean, Keith is like another brother, you know, too. You know, he was hanging out at my parents' house, and you know, it was. So I've known Keith for a long time.
Yeah.
And
I just want to make sure everyone knows that you are a major songwriter with a band, because I think often when you have a band that's comprised of men and women, people assume that the men write the songs.
True that.
Or one man.
Or
True
one
that.
man,
Or,
yeah.
yeah.
Like there's one mastermind,
Right.
and then the women are just like singing the vocals, doing their thing.
You know, it's different things.
Yeah.
But no, we were very modern in the way that it was. In fact, our music company is Men, Women Together Music now, or something very, and that was a zillion years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so it was really fun. That I mean, it was very communal, and everybody was jamming, and I mean, it didn't matter if you you know, were formally trained or anything. And in fact, that would have probably been a disadvantaged
Right.
in a way. So, you know, we would pick up like tambourines, congas, you know, and then we'd switch,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, it was just anything to turn things upside down, to approach things in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and so we had a lot of great combinations. Sometimes it was girls' songs, you know, sometimes it was, you know, of course, all of us, and, you know, and in fact, there's Ricky and Keith sang with me on, was it Ain't It a Shame, or She Breaks for Rainbows? I think it was, and so that was cool too, you know.
Would you just be writing songs, like having fun and writing songs at the house when you were together and just practicing all the time? Like,
Well-
what came out of that house?
Well,
Was there
the thing
a
was,
record?
Going back to Athens, it was very prolific, and we worked hard, you know. And one thing about it is, it sounds like B-52s could be just like a, you know, just off the cuff, you know. But it actually, once you get the puzzle pieces together, you really have to rehearse it, and to get it right, you know, and perform it. So there was a lot of rehearsing, and we had a great time.
Like when I watched the Love Shack music video, that's how I imagine you guys were when you were rehearsing.
Yeah.
Well, not with all the people dancing,
Without
but
all the
we
people,
had a
yeah.
lot of laughing.
Right.
We were
Yeah, exactly. You guys just
there
having a
was
good time.
And the thing is, when you started, we always like had to talk about gossip first, and then recipes, and
So
and
Southern.
just
That is
yeah.
so Southern.
Recipes.
Recipes and gossiping. Yeah, I have Southern family, so I can say it.
yeah, you know, and just you know, things that we've heard, you know. So, and then we would approach it, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what secrets are going to be unveiled in this documentary?
Well, you know, it's just a lot of good footage from the past, I think, which I think people will be entertained by.
Totally.
And it'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
I think your true fans, I'm sure, know the story of the real, you know, roller coaster that has been the story of the B-52s,
Yeah,
but that you
absolutely.
really, the music has such a deeper meaning than just this sort of joyful, fun play. It really, the way I've understood it is that it got you, this joy got you through such grief.
Absolutely. And we did it to have fun, and it comes through, you know. And there's always sex in every B-52 song. It's got to be in there somewhere.
Right. Were you the CBGB's lifestyle? Was that the
No.
rock, sex, drugs, rock and roll? Was that? Were the
No,
B-52s
in fact, we
that?
didn't have, you know, like screaming sex fans coming at us or anything. But no, it was just like a really kind of communal, you know. Of course, when we moved up here, we spread out and met all these wonderful people, but in Athens, there were so many people, you know. And that's one thing I really hated, is moving away from, you know, some of the great people in Athens too. But
Yeah, how was it going back?
that was wild. You know, I lived in New York City in the West Village for about 12 years.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm including Mayapack too, but so, you know, it was after Ricky passed, and we wrote Cosmic Thing. And the thing is, we did not go in to the studio to make a, you know, a multi-platinum record or anything like that. It was was really for a healing thing. See if we could just write together.
I was gonna say, talk about writing through grief. That's the album that came out of that. That's crazy.
And if you listen to it, there's a lot of nostalgic looking back at the days in Athens and the fun times we had.
Yeah, it's a nice.
But the thing is that surprisingly, I felt like Ricky was in the room, and it felt really good. And Keith Strickland did an amazing job. He would travel back and forth from Woodstock, New York. That's where he was living. That's what he wrote the music, and he was getting over his grief.
Yeah.
You know, and that's he turned to music, which is anytime you're stressed, it's really the place to go. You know, really. And I've always found that in my life too. That if things get dark, start working with people and into a creative thing.
Right.
Well, I was just gonna ask if you're a religious person, if that's also been something that's
I'm
helped
spiritual.
you. Yeah,
I'm very spiritual. I'm not Jesus thing or anything.
Right.
But not to say that's not to say there's not a Jesus consciousness or something.
Right.
But I'm open to a higher consciousness and that we're all connected and and with the loss of Ricky, there was a brief time where I was even mad at God. I think that was a lot of people have that. So how could you do this? Put this.
And if you exist,
AIDS
how could you let that happen
on the planet? And awful, and we lost so many friends and families, and it was a very scary time. And but you go through that dark period in your own time, and that. But now, having these years to reflect on it, I was extremely lucky to be able to have this special thing, which was the B-52s, and that we got to go all over the world and had so many adventures and do great stuff, and with my brother. And it may have been condensed,
right?
But I had a wonderful, wonderful experience with Ricky, and my kids, who are college age now, they never got to meet Ricky, which blows my mind,
Yeah.
But, they know, the whole stories. I tell them all the stories
I'm
about
sure they've heard.
Yeah. And also, they're so proud that Ricky's their uncle.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love also about your history that it seems like you recognized times in your life when you needed to focus on other parts of your life that were not the band.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was hard to do, and not a lot of people were doing that back then too.
Yeah, right. Totally.
And but I was. Some people thought I was crazy, and some people thought it was the right thing to do.
Did you always know it was temporary?
No. I loved the band, and it was still stress after Ricky's passing, and we worked that album like crazy. We were on the road constantly for years.
Cosmic thing.
Yeah, and it had multi singles, and we went all over the place, and everybody got a little burnt out, and it was, and it just seemed to me, I missed Ricky, even though I felt Ricky's presence was there, I still missed Ricky.
I just want to set so you had a record that came out that was made during his,
was bouncing off the satellite,
right?
Which didn't get the attention that it should have gotten.
And the fact that that didn't split you guys up, or you all say, okay, we can't, this is too much, or something.
Yeah. And
then about 3 years later, right?
Something like that. I'm kind of foggy about the exact time, but there was I was out of my head. I don't know. But it was, we got together. We were still living in New York, and we got together, and we had a room down near Wall Street. It was cheap, and we wrote the whole cosmic thing there,
God.
And
crazy. I think 2 songs that hit number 3.
It was pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Not bad.
Love Shack.
And it's funny because,
Rome.
when you're looking up interviews with the band from back in the day, all of them seem to be coming from just that moment in time. Like, all of a sudden, you guys were everywhere, on every talk show, on children's shows, variety shows.
It was funny.
Yeah, you just caught the world's attention that.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers, they were behind us on this one.
Yeah.
So that was great.
But can I say, I think it's awesome that your new album is on Kill Rock Stars.
That's a hell
Like,
to
that's
the
badass.
yes.
Yeah.
Right, that's badass.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, met Portia. We got together. I mean, and we the solo project. We did the album, and we had the collection of music. And actually, we added more later too. But we got the show together, and we did. We wanted to start doing tours, small tours, and getting out there and tweak the music. That's really where you tweak, is doing it, making the music come alive in
real
a show,
time.
in real time.
Yeah.
And so we played New Orleans and Dallas, and making our way down to Austin, to South by Southwest, and I did a lot of press there. And there was we played 2 or 3 times there, and I met Portia of Kill Rock Stars, and we talked, and she came to the show, and she was really interested, and so we talked later and negotiated, and we're in a partnership on this record. So, and everybody comes up to me and says, "Do you know how cool that is?" I said, "Yeah, that is amazing." Yeah, and it really helps with the extra, with having somebody behind you like that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And it's part of the team.
Yeah.
So
you've released 2 singles already.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the record comes out November 17th.
Amazing.
And it's going to be, we'll have a vinyl, and I think it's
do
going to be hot
vinyl.
pink.
Yeah. Oh, that'll do great at the merch table. That's awesome.
Yeah, and like I said, it's been a great adventure, and we've got a lot of good feedback from people, and that it really, thank you. I know, and people are enjoying the show and enjoying the music, so it's great.
Very nice. And it's called Change, right?
Change.
It's a multimedia, and a big part of this whole project is the performance element.
Yes,
A lot of visuals.
A lot of visual multimedia.
and it's we're trying to put more avant-garde elements in it, and multimedia.
Yeah.
And
Are you the artistic director behind all of that?
No. Like I said, it's called a solo record, but I'm really involved with some very bright people.
Yeah.
And we're doing some great work.
Awesome. I mean, do I want to ask this? What is one meaning behind calling the album Change?
Oh, well, I've already been through the change.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. That's awesome.
No, really.
I wasn't even thinking that, for the record. I was just thinking that was an annoying question to ask, just in general, to explain anything, like a title or a lyric.
No.
But
Well, no, it obviously is the change between the
band and solo.
B-52s, what I'm doing with B-52s,
Yeah.
and this project here,
Yeah.
And it's been a very growing experience, and I'm still growing. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
How do you feel about the new sort of music business? I mean, I don't know how
It's
much more you have to be involved
Right?
in that side now, anyhow. Like,
Yeah,
more
of
than you would
course.
have been.
It's a
Right.
it's a different world. Than when I started in the 70s, late 70s, and I mean, yeah, and the B-52s. I mean, sometimes we would be up on top, and sometimes we'd go on the bottom. It's like this. I think that's any career, and you survive those parts, and you know how to do what it takes, and so doing this solo project is definitely a big change and starting all over, and I'm loving it.
You did a pledge music campaign, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the modern thing to do.
Right.
And it makes, I think it helps pay the bills, obviously, for the solo. And it also helps and lets fans be feeling like they're part of it.
And invested in its success.
Yes, I think
getting the
that's-
word out. And,
so much so. So much so. And I think that's very modern.
yeah. Are the B-52s working on new music?
Wow. I think we're not going to do an album. I think that's too much because we're
Now or ever?
working.
Yeah, just, yeah.
Well, I think
won't say never.
we've been kicking around the idea of doing a song or two, but that's it. Nothing big. We did Funplex, and that took us a long time to do. The way that we work is very labor intensive, and we don't have Keith Strickland anymore. So that's really hard.
Right.
Are you all in Athens?
No,
Yeah,
no.
that's
Everybody's spread to the winds. Fred lives in the city.
Yeah.
And Kate lives in Woodstock, New York. And, I'm in Atlanta, Athens, and Keith Strickland is in Key West.
But you meet up for touring. That's enough right now.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, all the team, all the crew, everybody, they come in and it works.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for a long time.
Do you have a different persona? Does it feel like when you are doing your solo work versus the B-52s, there's almost a shedding of a sort of character you have to play?
You know what? I'm having a good time either one. It's like I said, it's being creative. It's both bands are very creative, and I get to camp it up inside more. It's a little more subtle, but it's a little more avant-garde. And but with the B-52s, it's definitely a B-52 thing.
Right.
So, but the thing is, and this is, I think, probably a lot of artists would say the same thing, is that you have to approach each night as like it's the first time, and just have fun with it. If you're not having fun, other people are not having fun.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can put some drama in it or some darkness, but really you have to enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. You're awesome. I'm excited for you.
Oh, great. Thank you. Well, we're playing tonight at what's the name of it? The Knitting Factory.
Yeah, you're playing all the cool spots.
Nice.
You were at the Bell House last night, right?
Yeah, and that was amazing. Very old. It looked like the Dutch had made it or something.
Place.
So it was, it was really small but intimate.
Yeah.
And I prefer the smaller things. You can feel everybody's
More
energy.
energy, yeah.
It's really great.
And then when are the B-52s out on the road?
We're actually in a couple of days. We're going to be playing Atlanta Symphony. We're doing symphony stuff.
That's awesome.
Isn't that
Great.
amazing?
Wait, what do you mean?
Cool.
Well, we're doing B-52 songs, written it out for
With the symphony?
for orchestra.
Oh my
I love when
God,
artists
that's
do that.
amazing. Yeah.
It is amazing, and it's really
fun.
turns it upside down with the B-52s. And
yes.
we played not too long ago Boston Pops.
Oh my God.
2 nights.
Awesome.
And oh my God, there was the regular symphony goers and also the rock fans or B-52 fans and all mixing together, and it was very trippy. It was so fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome. That's
Are
the
you
way to
guys doing the
celebrate.
Hollywood Bowl, or have you done the Hollywood
Did
Bowl?
the Hollywood Bowl? Did the
Yeah, that's another good spot to do
symphony
that.
there?
Yep.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that's a great venue.
So we enjoy it. It's really amazing to see. People that can read music, interpret all this,
Yeah.
and they're all doing their parts, and it just sounds like it's like fairyland or something.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Did you have to push back against any bullshit at the idea of you going solo? Like anyone who was like,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, it's totally comes from left field. I mean, I haven't put out anything really, but you know what? It was the planets were aligned, and that's how. And I had the right people, right team,
Right,
and
collaborators
right bands,
are
and right
huge, right?
collaborators. And
you knew you
I
could
think
do it.
I think a lot of people are fascinated that this is interesting, So I think there was I had some people saying weird things, but B-52s are used to that. Believe me.
Exactly. You've had your doubters, and you proved them wrong before. So this
Who
is just the
cares?
latest chapter.
And it rolls off.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like coming from from a band with one of the most distinctive sounds that have come out from like the entire last century.
Yeah.
What is she gonna do? What is she gonna sound like? Like what is her own stuff gonna be? And
Luckily I've had a lot of cheerleaders too, and people that are really wanting this to go well, and I think we're proving ourselves, you know, and nobody's giving us anything. We're every step of the
Right.
way we're earning, you know, and that's the way I like it.
Yeah. No,
You
that's
know?
good.
Yeah.
Don't owe nothing to nobody. But I mean, you have the voice, you have the songwriting, you have the success. I mean, it's like crazy that people see it as such a risk. You know?
No. I mean, yeah, it makes it easier.
I mean, you
because
never
I
know,
do,
but
I do have. I know how to. I've done this. I do this. I
Yeah.
know how to do this.
exactly.
You know, but yeah,
And you waited till the
it's-
time was right. Till you
Yeah,
felt
the thing
like
is to tickle other people's imaginations with it, you know,
Yeah.
and to have good work. And I think
Yeah.
I'm not nervous. I should be nervous, but I'm
Wow.
not.
Yeah.
What the hell? What does being nervous do for you?
Right.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Cindy, thank you so much.
Thank you,
and
guys.
listen to the album when it comes out next month or 2 months. I feel
Yeah.
like it's already like the
Yeah,
middle
we're
of fall.
still,
right.
we're
Yeah.
still, we're still, put, you know, publicity.
Yeah,
out.
but November, it's called Change, and we got a little preview, and it's amazing.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks,
wow.
Cindy.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.